It's the beginning of another week. Good evening. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from a news about this week, and that also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Okonsi. Tonight, investigators probing the microlight aircraft crash successfully collect key preliminary data. We have the latest. Plus, we're learning more about this aircraft. Many years of grounding and how it was successfully restored. Stay with us. We have the Deputy Defense Minister, Ernest Broja James, who's also going to be joining us live tonight to react to some earlier media reports regarding this crash. Stay with us. Also, President John Dramani Mahama directs an increase in recruitment into security agencies to 40,000 over a 4-year period. Stay with us. We'll find out how this also addresses the situation at hand going forward. Also, fuel prices see significant increase at the pumps, with some oil marketing companies expected to adjust prices. In fact, what we're seeing now, it's a reflection, a number of them already increasing by over 10%. Others also set to increase between 6 to 10% depending on the volumes at play. As always, you are an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get the conversation going. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
Two people have been killed after a plane crashed in Tema on Monday, March 16, 2026. The plane crashed at Oninku Drive School Park in Tema Committee 1. Investigators from the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau arrived soon after the crash. The team collected first-hand information for their report. The area has been cordoned off, with security service personnel deployed in large numbers. The majority has rejected the minority leader's call to refund 113 million cedis paid by unsuccessful applicants in the ongoing security services recruitment, arguing that similar fees were not refunded in the past. The minority says the decision goes against the government's reset agenda and has also criticized President Mahama's continued use of a private jet for state travel.
President is using his brother's private jet, and we think that it's justifiable. When just about less than about 15 months ago, you were criticizing President Akufo-Addo for using a private jet, and you had said that the presidential jet was in a pristine condition, isn't it? Don't you remember that they said the presidential jet was in pristine condition? So what happened? Really? Are they not the same people who were forcing Akufo-Addo to fly a commercial flight?
The Accra High Court has ordered the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Ntwiboisiako, popularly referred to as Chairman Wontumi, to open his defense in the illegal mining case against him at his concession at Samreboy in the Western region. The court dismissed an earlier submission of no case filed by lawyers for the Akonta mining owner. Andy Apiakubi, lead counsel for Wontumi, expressed disappointment with the decision of the court.
If this is the way criminal jurisprudence will turn out to be, it means nobody is safe, because any accused person at all can come and admit the commission of the crime and immediately turn out to be a prosecution witness and call any of us as having facilitated his commission of the crime, and immediately he is exonerated of the crime because he would have signed non-prosecution agreement. We live to see.
Some cocoa farmers in the Ashanti region have lamented the drop of the farm gate price of cocoa has had a toll on them. From accumulating huge debts to future uncertainty, the aggrieved farmers want government to honor its earlier promise.
They promised us that if they were in power, they would have offered the cocoa farmers 6,000 cedis per bag. So are they saying that, assuming that if they were in power, if they had increased the cocoa price to 6,000, would they have reduced it from 6,000 to 2,500 today?
Nti ayi nguasesem udo bi ka ohu ano ne wo ko enti ka me de mesra ban se de wa beto no wo mra metwa ye ka na de aka no a wo beto no nso no wo hu se ye bre ene ba de bu odin me yo ba mia na me fa ba de mia na me fa lebra enam de ayi kokue enti so te so hwi sa ye boka.
The Ghana Private Road Transport Union (GPRTU) has announced that transport fares will be maintained at their current rates after holding an executive meeting on March 16. This follows the recent fuel price hikes in petroleum products due to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, leading to disruptions in fuel supply globally. Deputy National Public Relations Officer of the Union, Samuel Amwa, confirmed there will be no increment for the time being.
During the meeting, we agreed that yes, previously we saw some reductions even up to a single digit. Of that, commuters were calling for a reduction of transport fares, but we didn't do that because we didn't see the stability of the petroleum product. So where it has gotten to now, the leadership has now met and we have agreed that as it stands now, we are not going to come in with any increment of transport fares for now. But what we want to do is to check if this is going to be stable or what will happen next.
It's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. As always, all across the world on 3news.com, on 3news as well on YouTube. And it's always brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasso Insecticide Spray and Quell, Tum Precom. Coming up next here on Ghana Tonight, investigators probing the microlight aircraft crash successfully collect key preliminary data as they now focus on gathering what remains of the aircraft. We have the latest plus. We're learning more about this particular light aircraft, which we understand after many years of grounding and how it was successfully restored based on some social media posts that have been tracking for some time now, and quite a worrying development we got earlier today. Investigators probing the microlight aircraft crash have successfully collected key preliminary data. They are now focusing on gathering what remains of the plane plus engaging some eyewitnesses in an attempt to unravel what caused the accident. We're also monitoring quite closely how the events are played out right from the late afternoon to now. The privately owned aircraft crashed on Monday, that's earlier today, leaving 2 persons believed to be on board dead. Now, eyewitnesses have been speaking on what they observed as the plane came down on a school compound. Now, what you're seeing right now are videos that we got from the crash site. My colleague George Quening and the team visited the crash site, and they've been there for the most part of this evening, and to give us a fair idea of what's happening now. As you see there, the crash site has been cordoned off as standard procedure is required. And we're also seeing a number of the security agencies, not just the NADMO or the fire service, quite a number of the Ghana Police Service have visited this crash site as we speak. Now, let's just backtrack a bit, okay? Let's backtrack a bit. And just for the uninitiated, to give you an idea of how all of this happened earlier today, this crash of this light aircraft happened at a school. We understand the pupils of that school were not at that particular point where this happened, but it's not too far away from the crash site. Let's take you to exactly what happened. These are social media videos of some eyewitnesses who captured the moment. Take a look. And that's how close this crash was to the school that these children were in. We understand that they were in a classroom, so not too far away from the crash site. You saw them running after this aircraft crashed, and the smoke we saw from that crash site blowing into the skies, and the teachers who had to escort these children away from the crash site. We'll be speaking to a number of them shortly. George Quaining is my colleague. He is at the crash site. It's been engaging the headmistress and the teacher of the school, whom you saw in the video we just played, getting the children out of that area as quickly as possible. Now, George, now it's hours after this crash, and still monitoring the night events of this particular area. Tell us what's been happening where you are right now.
It's 7:30 p.m. right here at the Tema Metropolitan Daycare Center, and this is where the crash actually happened. That was around 2:50 p.m. according to teachers of this very school, and 2 pilots are feared dead, and it actually happened around 2:50 p.m. like I rightly mentioned, and the headmistress cannot thank God enough for delivering her from this very misfortune. She's been singing songs of praises. I would want to talk to her. Madam Florence is the headmistress of this very school. Madam Florence, hello. This is more like you thanking God for the rest of your life. Is that what it is?
No, but tomorrow we don't know what will happen. But what has happened today, God has saved us. No, we have to sing it and give glory to Him. That's make me to do what, to sing, to pray.
What are some of the songs you are singing? What song?
Titi wafo nyameno no ohu echidie ye nene na misi orinja ye mu ni sem na ye wo Titi wafo nyameno no ohu ochina die ye nene na misi orinja ye mu ni sem na ye wo ao erade Nisem na yawo ao eradie Nisem na yawo.
I can imagine more than 100 students are here. They could have died.
Papa, together with the teachers, and where the earthcraft has fell near the classroom, and by then all the children are in the class. Oh, what a gracious God. What a miracle God. Lord, we thank you. We give you all the glory, all the adorations. Yes, it's not by our power. You yourself has gave the word to us. So because of that, you are in front of us, you are in back of us, left and right. Lord, we say we thank you. We thank you for your protection. We thank you. So one must someone buy your home. Already a Maya some as someone buy your home. Until you sida any aye edi mano.
So Madam Florence is the headmistress of this very school, and so if you didn't know, this plane it's actually the helicopter was a Sky microlight helicopter. I read about it, and it has a fuel capacity of 112 liters, and the passenger capacity is 2. So what that means is that if it had more passengers, it means all of them would have died. It would have been very unfortunate. And so I know if you're watching, wherever you are, this actually is 6 months after the last incident occurred in August last year. And so let's know what you make of this. We all thought it was going to be the last of its kind. The investigator came here to take some data, and Nadmo was also here. That's the Aircraft Accident and Investigation and Prevention Bureau. They are here. They came here, and so tomorrow they come to pick the debris of this very crash for further investigations. And so we'll be monitoring every development here. But there was also one lady who was captured. Madam, Madam, Macho Brawai. So Yadine Bekasa, she was also part of this whole incident. She really witnessed it, and I think it has actually put her in this very quiet mood. Mewun said it's very difficult for you to come out. There, Koso.
That's George Queening there interacting with the head teacher of this school that we're talking about, this Oninku School Park. This is where this crash happened, and quite a troubling development. You see the children there running, and away from this crash site. They were in the classroom. That's what the head teacher just said. They were in the classroom. They didn't know anything. They just had a bang and a blast. They had to quickly be escorted out of the classroom by the teachers and some of the eyewitnesses as well in this particular location. The fire service personnel, you see quite a number of them also running to the crash site when this happened. Now, when this incident happened, and some media reports or social media reports has suggested that this was a military aircraft. Now, that prompted a swift response from the Deputy Defense Minister on his social media handle. We're going to put that on the page, that is social media page right now, that he put that statement on. And this is NS Broja about this crash that happened. Thankfully, he's joined us on Zoom right now for a quick conversation on this. And we're doing this because of this clarity or the clarification that had to be put out after this crash. NS Broja is Deputy Defense Minister. Honorable, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, Alfred, and thanks for having me.
Great. Now, you had cause to put out this very short post on your social media handle because of that earlier reports about the aircraft that crashed. Now, what exactly prompted this? Very quickly.
Permit me to first express my condolences to the families of the bereaved. This is an unfortunate incident and very painful. I have had to have a shock 7 months ago when I lost my boss together with other government officials and some officers of the military in the helicopter crash. And so I know how news like this can hit anyone. And so we pray for the souls of the departed. Yes, when the reports initially started coming in, we knew that it was a private aircraft, and so it had nothing to do with the Ghana Armed Forces in terms of the aircraft that was in reference. But the news started, spreading, and because of the way the Ghana Air Force operates, many people believe that every helicopter or any smaller aircraft operating in the country belongs to the Ghana Armed Forces. So there was a need to clarify that it was a private aircraft. And indeed, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority had also issued a statement to confirm that this was a private microlight aircraft that was en route to Accra from Ho. And so we wanted to make that clear so that people know that the aircraft does not belong to the Ghana Armed Forces.
I see. And you referenced the sad events of August last year, which is still fresh on our minds, and you as well. I mean, hearing this, we understand that the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority has already launched some investigations into this matter. You have any briefing on this?
No, not at all. But when there's any accident involving an aircraft, whether there are fatalities or whatever it is, even if it's a fault that causes an aircraft to abort, a journey, there's an institution that is established to look at it. That's the Aircraft Accident Bureau. And so I know that they will take it up to investigate the causes. And during the investigation of the helicopter crash, they were very instrumental in supporting the team that was put together, which was chaired by the National Security Coordinator. And so I know that there will be an investigation to identify exactly what happened and what caused this.
I want to thank you very much for joining us with this clarification, and then also the consolation as well to the bereaved family. We understand two persons have been confirmed dead. Do you also have that briefing, at least based on what you've been monitoring so far?
Yes, the aircraft itself is a micro light aircraft. What that means is that a smaller, not a heavy aircraft. And it takes only 2 persons. So the passenger and then the pilot. And so if you notice, it's only 2 people that the maximum that it can take. And mainly they use them for recreational purposes, some for expedition or even for surveillance. So these aircraft does not carry many persons. So yes, only 2 persons were on board, and all of them did not survive.
And you say, and you corroborate this statement from the Civil Aviation Authority that is indeed, it was from Ho to Accra.
Yes, initially we were even thinking they had taken off from our airstrip in Afienya, the Ghana Air Force strip in Afienya, because they use that airstrip a lot. These microlight aircrafts, they operate mainly in Afienya. But as the Ghana Civil Aviation, because they control they have this radar system to determine the aircraft movement and all that. So what they say is what it is. It was an aircraft from Ho to Accra.
Have you, by any chance, seen this social media post about this particular aircraft being grounded for 22 years and being refurbished or revived a year later, and then being given that permit to fly?
I don't have any information on that.
Right.
What I know is that some of these aircraft, they are able to even assemble them in Ghana. But I don't have any, I cannot confirm this information.
And I do thank you. I thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And as Broja Jemfi is Deputy Defense Minister, joining us here on Ghana Tonight with the most important is the condolence to the family, and then also the the clarification of exactly what this aircraft make and the purpose, where it was traveling or flying from, and its intended destination, and the information we've gotten so far. But here's what I was referencing regarding this particular social media post. It has emerged that, and I'm going to put that on the screen right now, this crashed light aeroplane was once grounded for 22 years. Now, that's according to the social media post that you're seeing on the screen right now, and only resumed flights less than 3 years ago. Information from the online post that we're showing you the pictures of indicates that the aircraft is a 3 iSky Arrow 650, originally manufactured by Initiative Industriali Italian between 1992 and 2008. A February 2023 Facebook post by someone only identified by the social media handle name Roberto Belea, with operations, we understand, of a particular Ghanaian airline with operations in Accra and Obuasi, suggested that the aircraft had been grounded for the previous in the last 22 years from that particular period of this post. This was February 4, 2023, and had only come back to life on the set date of this post. He shared photos of the aircraft and a video with a caption, that's what you see there, after 22 years, 9G ADV is again airborne. What an emotion. And he says shortly more videos from GoPro. The post suggests that the aircraft must have been grounded around 2001 until it was refurbished. Earlier, posts also shared by this same handle indicated that the rehabilitation of 9G ADV had begun many months before. One of the older Facebook posts from January 2023 showed him and others standing beside the aircraft as they worked to restore it. The 9G ADV was inspected, according to this particular post, by the GCAA and received a permit for its first test flight after the rehabilitation in January 2023. The test flight happened in February and it was subsequently certified. Now, we must indicate emphatically that these are unconfirmed reports beyond this social media post. We're still knocking on the doors of Guyana Air for some more information on this, whether this light aircraft which was crashed was operated by them or by another airline. But this is what you see there. And the debris that we showed you earlier in that video of the aircraft at the crash site gives you an idea of this particular aircraft, and the description that the Deputy Defense Minister Ernest Boja Jemfi just gave also reflects what you're seeing on the screen there. It carries just two passengers maximum, and as is what we know right now from the reports that have also been confirmed, that 2 persons or passengers in this aircraft unfortunately died. But here's what we do know when we did a quick search about this particular aircraft and also the social media post that was attached to the aircraft. It's a Sky Arrow and the serial number 103, registration 9G ADV, and also this weight. The weight of the aircraft without passengers is about 429 kilograms. The seats 2, the engine in this was Rotax 912 as of the time of that social media post, and then also the range of 800 kilometers. So that also gives you an idea of what the Deputy Defense Minister just talked about. It was flying from Ho to Accra, and based on the timelines of reconstruction in that social media post, the aircraft likely grounded somewhere in 2001. 22 years on, the restoration was completed in January 2023. In that same period, between January and February 3rd, the aircraft was certified for test flight and on the 4th of February 2023, it was airborne again. The areas of possible investigation that the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority will be looking at in other bodies as well is a certificate of registration, whether it was indeed valid to fly, the certificate of airworthiness, the maintenance release certificate, and then the test flight permit that has also been referenced. And this is where I bring in Dr. Nanaya Akwada. He is the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety. And thank you so much for joining us here, Dr. Akwada, on Ghana Tonight. First of all, I want to start from the videos we saw of the residents and some persons in this area who thronged this accident site, regardless of the possible dangers. Quite concerning, to say the least, is it not?
Yes, it is. I think it's like I've told a couple of media houses today that it's still bringing into question, the swiftness of our emergency responders, right? I think it's early days yet to start, doing such analysis. For now, lives have been lost. We want to give some dignity to the families of those who've lost their loved ones to breathe. We want to get we want to have first responders with all relevant stakeholders, assure the general public of what has been done to settle parents and children in these schools. We want to see how possible the National Disaster Management Organization, how quickly, together with the Ghana National Fire Service, the police, and the Air Accident Investigation Bureau, collaborate to start giving or providing, very useful responses to the Ghanaian public. As of now, we have seen posts, and Alfred, you shared some with me, of a man who claimed that he was going to test fly this aircraft. But information that has been put out there by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority is pointing in other direction. There is no mention of test flight at all. We want to find out which one is the truth. So there are a lot of information flying around, which is why I indicated earlier that it will be prudent in alignment with global standards for the authorities to be quick to speak to the media to put out the relevant facts that we need to know. Was this flight actually a test flight? And if it was a test flight, who decided that over the ocean was not enough? Or I don't know. I want to understand why a test flight would take place in a densely populated area, like the Tema enclave, right? Where the aircraft eventually landed is just about 200, if I'm not mistaken, 300 meters from the central market, where we call Kwasi Adwaso. And for the record, Alfred, I grew up in that neighborhood. Oninku Park used to be a place that we used to go and pray a lot and pray and both play. It was just about 2-3 minutes walk from my house. So I'm very, very, familiar with that space. Within that same enclave, less than 100 meters or so, are two hospitals, very big hospitals, the Lagoon and the Port Clinic, right? They are clinics. I don't know now if they've become hospitals, but they are very big. So was it a test flight? Was he really en route to Ho or so, as the Ghana Civil Aviation Authorities claim? Those are things that we'll have to learn in the coming few hours. Those responses must come. I have still not read anywhere what has happened to the children in the school. Did any of them get injured? Have they been able to account for all the children? Those facts are ones that I have said earlier that we will need the regional police commander, the member of parliament for that area, the headmistress, and I thought you said you had her on the line. And it's two campuses. We have the elementary and the primary. We want to see them face the media and respond to questions. Some of these questions that we've asked, those questions will allay the fears of the general public, assure parents and teachers and students, and then it builds trust in the emergency response agencies as well as the authorities that be. If that is lacking, then it's not good. And I'm hoping that after all this is done, we would want to take another look, not a second look, because we've had several opportunities to look at our emergency response plans. We want to take a look at the emergency response plan and how to make it really a workable document.
I see. Nana, so you referenced the social media post, right, which I ran through. The 2023 late January test flight permit was issued on that said day. That's the January 2023. That was when the test flight permit was issued. So this test flight you're talking about, based on the social media post you referenced, was actually 2023. Then we see on the 4th of February, based on this same post, the aircraft was airborne again. All of this happened in 2023, not 2026. I just wanted to clarify that. Doc.
So like I said, that is why it's important that the authorities come out and, put all these facts there, because social media is rife. And if they delay, these are some of the things that's going to happen, right? It's important. Elsewhere, within 6-7 hours, there's a podium, authorities are there, responsible persons, maybe the Director General of Ghana Civil Aviation or the CEO of the Accident Investigation Bureau is standing there to give citizens an update. We have the police. Once the air branch is done, the police will come. This is when it happened. We've accounted for everybody. So at the moment, it's only 2. Then all the facts are set straight before, other informations come up on social media that would tend to muddy the waters, and by so doing also discredit, our first responder agencies. So it's absolutely important. I won't say after, 5 hours, 4 hours, it's getting late. 24 hours, a lot can go on within this time. That's why every time there are disasters, what you see in the advanced world, immediately authorities, collaborate and then issue not just a press statement, but actually brief the press where they take questions. And then those questions also give them insight as to what things they should speak to immediately. Those are the things that are lacking in our system. And I think that it would be appropriate that, we don't let these things occur and recur every time there is any disaster. We are going to move away from a taxi crash, truck crash, to some of these things. And we must get our acts right.
Thank you. Dr. Nanaya, I quite appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much. She's the Director of the Bureau of Public Safety. This is Ghana Tonight, and stay with us because we're monitoring events tomorrow morning. We're going to be live at that particular crash site on New Day, just to also monitor how things are playing out, and the latest updates as well we'll bring to you. But coming up next, President John Dramani Mahama has directed an increase in recruitment into security agencies to 40,000 over a 4-year period. This was in a statement that we have received a copy of, and it is signed by Felix Kwatiofosu, the Minister in charge of Government Communications. President John Dramani Mahama, based on this statement, has held a high-level meeting with the heads of the security agencies, the Minister for the Interior, and the Acting Minister for Defense on the ongoing security services recruitment. Following a briefing on the process, the President has directed that the number of men and women to be recruited to the various security agencies should be increased from 20,000 to 40,000 over a 4-year period. The President has also directed the heads of the security agencies to ensure transparency and fairness in the recruitment process. Present at the meeting were the Chief of Staff, the Secretary to the President, Senior Presidential Advisor on Governmental Affairs, National Security Coordinator, Inspector General Police, Director General Prisons, Director General Fire Service, Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, and the Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission. This is signed by Felix Kwatiofosu. And very cool, the Interior Minister, Mohamed Muntaka Mubarak, had already indicated that the 5,000 was the first phase of a long process of recruitment. Now that number has been increased to 40,000 from 20,000, a double of it. But this matter was topical in Parliament as well earlier today because the Majority Leader, Mama Yanaga, responded to the demands by the minority that the persons who could not make it to the next stage should have their application cost refunded to them. Take a look.
They did the same thing, advertised, people paid, and they never refunded 1 Ghana cedis to anyone. Let's discuss how we can fix the economy so that jobs can be created for all these young people. Is the young man looking for the money? The young man is looking for a job. He wants government to create a job for him. And that's what we must be doing, creating jobs. 200 Ghana cedis, if you refund it to him, what is he going to do with it? We promised every young person in this country that we will give them a fair opportunity. So, Mr. Speaker, what we are doing is simply giving every young person a fair opportunity. We could have just gone and gotten, our foot soldiers and just listed them and given them over the same way that the MPP did. But we are not doing that. If 500,000 and over people have applied, it shows the enormity and the problem of unemployment in this country. When a system does not offer certainty, it must obviously be reviewed. When a system does not offer clarity, it must certainly be reviewed. But if we would always go back and say, oh, yesterday something happened, it was not good, so we shouldn't talk about it. Mr. Speaker, then what is the essence of a reset? In the end, the desperate youth will be frustrated. We, the MPs, they will come to us for money to go and do medicals that they will never get the opportunity.
Well, coming up next, the Accra High Court has ordered the NPP Ashanti Regional Chair, Benadentri Boysiako. We're going to do this quickly before we go for our break. Popularly known as Benadentri Boysiako, popularly referred to as Chairman Wontumi, to open his defense in the illegal mining case against him at his concession. So that's the latest to this particular case. And earlier today, the Accra High Court has ordered the NPP Ashanti Regional Chair, Benadentri Boysiako, popularly referred to as Chairman Wontumi, to open his defense in the illegal mining case against him at his concession at Samre Boy in the Western Region. The court dismissed an earlier submission of no case filed by his lawyers, that's the lawyers for the Akonta mining owner, that's Benadentri Boysiako and the Apiakobi. It's the lead counsel. His lawyers have been addressing the press after the proceedings, and this is the indication they give of what the way forward is for them. Take a look.
And if this is the way criminal jurisprudence will turn out to be, it means nobody is safe. Because any accused person at all can come and admit the commission of the crime and immediately turn out to be a prosecution witness and call any of us as having facilitated his commission of the crime. And immediately he is exonerated of the crime because he would have signed non-prosecution agreement. We live to see.
Well, it says we live to see. We're given an indication of they challenging this particular decision, but already the government has given indication of measures that have been taken regarding Chairman Wontumi and this particular case. Over the weekend on K Point, Felix Kwatiofosu, Minister in charge of Government Communications, gave an update of what has happened regarding Chairman Wontumi's case. Take a look.
On the 8th of January, 2025, it was found that about 50 million Ghana cedis had been paid him from Cocoa Board.
Yeah.
Cocoa Board for some work that he said to have done. He moved
30 million of that to purchase some securities. In other words, bonds, right? I think treasury bills. And then about 23 million to purchase or set up an insurance company.
Amen. When was this?
Oh, this was in January, February.
Last year.
Yes. So all these assets have been frozen as I speak. Indeed. Again, look, even his mobile money account has been frozen.
Chairman Wontumi mobile money account.
Even his mobile money account has been frozen. Unless he sets up another one or use another conduit, he cannot use mobile money, receive or send. So that is the extent to which the state has gone to ring-fence these assets, pending the determination of the case. How can anybody see this and say Oral has died?
Phyllis Kwachof, so there's more of this you can find on 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're back after this quick break. We'll tell you the fuel price increases at the pumps, how consumers are reacting, and also the Bank of Ghana's indication of a possible exposure of inflationary risk as a result of what's happening at the pump. Stay with us.
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in the Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Sing Manso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast, then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana Cedi single, 5,500 Ghana Cedi shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it.
Adisa Plus Parental Control helps you manage what your kids can watch. Open settings and select parental control. Enable the feature and create a 4-digit PIN. Choose the maximum content rating you're comfortable with. Any content above this rating will require the PIN. Restricted titles appear locked across the app. Trying to play restricted content prompts for the PIN. Correct entry unlocks access for that session. Multiple incorrect attempts can temporarily lock access. Parental control on Adisa Plus. Available now. Adisa Plus. Safe streaming your way. Adisa Plus.
Season 4 officially begins. We open our house, our doors, our hearts, and our timelines to a brand new set of housemates, hoping to find love. And through that, we'll find friendship, we'll find fans, possibly walk away with that winning cash prize. But most importantly, we'll find an experience. Welcome to the most anticipated, most obsessed, and most talked about season yet of Perfect Match Extra.
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in the Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos, Central brings the history. A Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana Cedi single, 5,500 Ghana Cedi shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to
Adisa Plus Parental Control helps you manage what your kids can watch. Open settings and select parental control. Enable the feature and create a 4-digit PIN. Choose the maximum content rating you're comfortable with. Any content above this rating will require the PIN. Restricted titles appear locked across the app. Trying to play restricted content prompts for the PIN. Correct entry unlocks access for that session. Multiple incorrect attempts can temporarily lock access. Parental control on Adisa Plus. Available now. Adisa Plus. Safe streaming your way. Adisa.
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in the Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bunsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over.
Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. Now, fuel prices see significant increase at the pumps, and that's what's coming up next, with some oil marketing companies adjusting prices in excess of 10%. Now, we visited some of the pumps to gauge the exact impact, as we're seeing, and it was anger is mounting at fuel stations across the country today as the second pricing window of March takes effect, delivering what experts describe as one of the most aggressive price hikes in Ghana's recent history. We've seen this, and we've been checking already. Major oil marketing companies have updated their boards with some prices leaping by nearly 17% overnight, and this started from yesterday. In fact, from Sunday morning, we monitored up until now. Now, we spoke to some people as well who have been expressing their concerns and reactions to this latest development. We'll find it as well. And if you see what's happening on the world market right now, I want to put it on the screen, what we've seen on the Bloomberg terminal. The crude oil prices, as of 5 minutes ago, around 10:50 p.m., reduced by just about, about $3, a barrel, now selling at a little over $100 a barrel as of 5 minutes ago. And Alfred Appiah is a data scientist, a public policy analyst joining us. Alfred, how bad can this get? I mean, you've been monitoring what's happening on the global scene and the fact that other countries that President Donald Trump was hoping to join in the fight to, as it were, aid some shipments through the Strait of Hormuz have backed down on it. How's it going to play out in the next few days ahead?
Yeah, I think when you look at what the U.S. is doing, and Trump is trying to get as many countries involved as possible. When you look at some of his messaging too, he's essentially trying to calm down the market, right? So he knows that as the war continues, and the market is always going to react to it, right? So he makes comments like the Iranian military capability is obliterated completely and all of that, just to sort of calm the market, right? Because I think it's about how far the market, how far this war can continue, right? And as for us locally, I think, of course, we know, like as you were talking about, the fact that the prices are already increasing at the pump. So we are definitely feeling the impact of that locally. And we also know that transportation is a key component of our inflation basket, right? It's about the second largest item in the CPI basket. And we also know the ripple effects that transportation has on things like food inflation and all of that. So certainly, it's interesting that the Bank of Ghana is also meeting this week, right? The Monetary Policy Committee is meeting this week to look at the inflation trajectory and make a decision on the policy rate. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. My sense is that there's still a bit of a leeway or wiggle room for the Monetary Policy Committee, because when you look at the inflation being at 3.3% and you look at the monetary policy rate being at 15.5%, there's still a bit of room. So they will be cognizant of the fact that the geopolitical risks are elevated, but they would also be thinking about trying to bring down the borrowing costs.
Okay, and then if you look at the trends, Alfred, can you hear me? Perfect. Now, if you look at what is playing out right now, just a drop we've just seen. In fact, this now selling just a little over $100, and we've seen petrol now selling almost 15 cedis. I mean, depending on the type that you're buying, some selling under 14 cedis, some 13 cedis, 49 pesos thereabout. But diesel has seen the biggest jump as well at the pumps. And because of the nature and structure of our economy, when petrol or the fuel prices go up, it affects almost everything on the market. Alfred, is it not? I mean, so yeah. It's illegitimate that the Bank of Ghana is already raising the inflationary risks of this situation, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that they would have to keep an eye on, right? I just don't think that the current monetary policy meeting that is happening now, they would have that at the back of their mind, but I still believe that they might still go ahead and cut the rate, maybe not as much as they wanted to cut before, being cognizant of that elevated risk to the inflation outlook.
Perfect. Alfred, thank you so much for joining us. And we hit the streets actually to interact with some persons as well. Alfred Appiah is a data analyst and also financial But that's a public policy analyst joining us here. But this is what the public had to say about this. Take a look.
Fuel pricing going to get high, it has effect on our economy. Prices of items will go high, lorry fare will go high. You know how our drivers are. Sometimes when the government reduce prices, unless authority implements policy on them before they will be able to reduce the prices for us. If those policies are not being implemented on them, there's no way they will reduce prices for us.
Fuel prices have been increased. I used to buy 600 cedis to fill my tank, but now, unless I buy 700 cedis rather to fill it, we are pleading on the government to reduce fuel prices.
And before we go, the Ekropon Circuit Court has ordered the remand of, that was earlier today, Freddy Blay, the former national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, following his arrest in connection with a disputed property demolition at Kitasi in the Eastern region. Mr. Blay, a veteran legal practitioner and political figure, was handed to the Ekropon police earlier today after officers in Accra executed a criminal arrest warrant that had been outstanding for nearly a year. He appeared before the court shortly after his arrest and is expected, from what we got earlier, to have remained in custody until his next scheduled appearance on the 9th of April 2026. The update that we have, based on the information coming through from some persons close to him and his legal team, is that Mr. Freddy Blay has been transferred to a medical facility for urgent attention hours after the remand by the Circuit Court. So that's the latest development coming through right now. So Freddy Blay has been referred to a medical facility for urgent attention hours after remand by the Circuit Court. So that's the latest regarding Freddy Blay, who the particular complaint filed by a landowner who alleges that Mr. Blay ordered the demolition of a property on the said land. So it's one that we're keeping an eye on quite closely. We'll be updating you in the early hours of tomorrow. But there's more of this on 3news.com. On behalf of the rest of the team, we do appreciate your company. I am Alfred Okonse. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight.